welcome back to the show. Sergeant Richard Lloyd, Public Information Officer for the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, and here I have Sheriff Bob Johnson. Welcome, sir.
Hey, good to be back.
Glad that you're here. We have a lot of really great information to talk about in this show.
We do.
And, you know, jumping right onto the hot topics. The hot topic this week
is it going to be Grand Theft Auto 5 stealing our logos for our cars?
I am so glad you mentioned that. It's not, but that is cool if you go on, what is that, YouTube?
YouTube. I went on YouTube, and I always put in Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office just to see if somebody's like videotaping our officers or whatever. And they have Grand Theft Auto 5 has our cars on there, police cars on there.
Which one of them, the people out on our audience, are the ones that created that? Because I'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean seriously, that's kind of bizarre. I don't know. Yeah. I know I didn't do it. I think it's a safe bet, right? I think it's a safe bet.
Yes,
I didn't do it.
Absolutely was not. But yeah. if that was you, call my office. I'd like to talk to you.
And you're not in trouble.
No.
I mean, we don't care. It's kind of cool, actually. But
yeah, it is pretty neat.
Yeah, it is.
Hot Topics is back to school. The kids are gone.
Boy, I tell you what, it is. And you know, the biggest thing is school zones have been turned back on. So please pay attention, because now with that new law about no texting, you go through a school zone on your phone and you can get a $166 ticket. So I know people out there don't want to be paying the state $166, so please stay off your phone in the school zones and pay attention to them. And remember, it's 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, and just take a little bit extra time on your commute. Our population, especially in the South End, is growing.
I'm telling you.
So we're seeing more folks out on the roadways.
A little trivia for you. Normally, it's about 2,500 people move to Santa Rosa County every year. Last year, according to the U.S. Census, 9,500 people moved to Santa Rosa County last year. So part of the problem of living in paradise is everybody wants to live with you. So our county is growing, and it's growing really, really fast.
And with that, you also had a very great partnership last year during the last school season with Tim Rosdick.
We did. And, you know, when they passed the law pertaining to Parkland, you know, all the different school superintendents around the state started arguing with their sheriffs about who's going to pay for what. Everybody was like, no, I'll pay half the salary or whatever, and a big argument broke out. The first day that law got passed, Tim Rosdick called me. We sat down and we came up with a plan, and from that day forward, we've had all our schools covered. Every single school in Santa Rosa County now has a marked car out front with an armed deputy inside of it, and I think we're the only county to do that fast. They're still arguing over it. Some places in South Florida, they're still fighting over who's paying for what, and we've got it ironed out the first day.
That's great partnership when it comes to the officials. And Sheriff, I'm sure everybody thanks you for that. I think it was a big move on our end.
Well, it was a big move on our end to hire all the officers to get them in the schools. But, you know, Tim Rosdick stepped up and said, hey, I'll pay their salary for the entire year. Even when they're out during the summer, I'll still pay their salary if you pick up all the expense of the equipment and training. So, you know, Tim Rosdick really stepped up on that one.
He certainly did. And it's evident by all the parents and all the comments we've been getting within just the first week of school. Your officers are doing great. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you to the sheriff for that great move. And also, that was part of your campaign, which was to get more school officers or resource officers.
Well, yeah, before Parkland, you know, I got elected in 2016. So leading up to 2016, one of my campaign promises was by the end of my first term, I wanted to have 4 more resource officers in middle schools. So that was my plan. Then Parkland happened. Obviously, everything got accelerated, and in 1 year, we covered 31 schools.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so hiring that many people, and next year, just for anybody out there possibly wanting a job, next year I have 18 law enforcement side positions and 18 correction positions that we're going to fill next year. So that's 36 people that we're putting on. So we're growing really, really fast.
Great place to work. And,
it is.
Like I say, you know, live and work where others vacation. This is definitely what Santa Rosa is about. And there's a video that was created recently that the sheriff put out where he's having a conversation and explaining with Mr. Rosdick about the partnership and everything else. It's on our Facebook page if you want to take a look at that. And also, Speak Out is in its 2nd year. So
it is.
Santa Rosa Speak Out is a program that was implemented, again, in partnership with the sheriff, Crime Stoppers, and the school board, where we now have an anonymous system in our schools where the kids can call in and they could let us know what's happening from a crime standpoint. So many different things they can call in for. And I wanted to share some of the stats on that. So last year we had over 256 calls into the Speak Up program, and it's great because it's all anonymous. More than half of those, this was interesting, was during school hours. So they're using the app, the kids are using that, they're using the phone number. But then the other half was after school. So it shows that they're taking this and making calls after the fact when they're out of school.
Right. And you know, that's a lot of one school, just one school, the Speak Out program last year had 75 tips called in.
Yes.
75 at one school. So that tells you it's working.
We resolved 118 situations involving bullying. We had 48 incidences involving social media where there was threats that were made, and we also had 20 that involved weapons or threat of weapons, and over 30 assessments. And really what that means is we go above and beyond to go and check the home and see what's going on, and it's, I can't get into all the details of it, but that means that we have gone above and beyond what's normally required to make sure that the kids are safe.
Right. And I tell you what, our resource officers, a lot of people think, well, they're just there from bell to bell and they're done. But our resource officers, they do a lot of things after hours, not just football games and things like that. They have a lot of interaction with kids after hours. And so they put in some pretty long days.
They do. And they get tips 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
They
and
sure
when
do.
a tip comes in, it's handled.
Right.
So next up is we are hiring. Look at that. We just got done talking about it.
Yeah, but this we have some civilian positions as well. So dispatch, we're always short in dispatch. It's a very difficult job, and very few have the calling to go into that room and take some of the calls that they take. They're the first responders. They're the ones that give us the information that keeps us safe on the road. So if you have that kind of calling, you think you make a great dispatcher, feel free to go to our website and put in for it. It's a really tough job, but it's very rewarding.
It is very rewarding, and if you're a really good multitasker, that's a great place for you.
Well, you got to be a multitasker.
Real quick, before commercial, let's talk about 2 active cases that we're still working on with major crimes, and that is Tyler Howell, which was a homicide that occurred on John Ham Road, and we also had the Brandy Maples case in Milton, and each one of those has an enhanced $5,000 reward through the Santa Rosa County Crime Stoppers program. If you have any information, give us a call. We'd like to bring some resolution to the family.
That's totally anonymous. We can't say that enough. We don't know who you are. We don't know your phone number. We know nothing about it other than you get a number, a tip number, and you claim your money that way. We never talk to you or anything. So if you know anything about those 2 homicides, please give us a call.
Let's go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Have you ever laid in bed and wonder what your future is going to be like? I do, and I often wonder what it's like to be a deputy. How would I look in a uniform? What's on that belt? What's the car look like inside? Who would I work with? What's it like to help others in need? What's it like to fight crime? One day, I'm gonna know.
It's a dream come true to become a deputy for Santa Rosa County. It was one of my goals I had in life, try and become a deputy before age 30, and I did it. I always wanted a brother. Now I have a ton of brothers. You know, we're always having each other's backs. And that's that kind of close-knit family that you just can't get in any other kind of job. I'm patrolling paradise. I work where people come to vacation, and that's amazing.
Welcome back, and our favorite part of the show is the Wanted Fugitives.
Yes,
Sheriff,
it
you
is.
ready to get started on this?
I am. Let's see who's first on the hit parade. Rhonda Stalvey Suck, I believe is her name. Rhonda is wanted on charges of trafficking amphetamines, methamphetamine, 14 grams or over. She's a white female, 56 years old. She's approximately 5'3", 160 pounds, brown hair, and hazel eyes.
Next up is Bradford Dwayne Henderson, and Bradford is wanted for fleeing and eluding law enforcement, driving while license suspended, 3rd subsequent offense. Bradford is a white male, 42 years of age. He's about 5'10", 175 pounds, brown hair, green eyes, and he may be violent and armed.
Reed Edward Bruce. Reed is wanted on charges of possession of controlled substance without prescription, possession and or use of drug equipment. He's a white male, 26 years old. He's approximately 6 foot, 160 with brown hair and brown eyes.
And next up is Thomas Colby Hembry White. And Thomas is wanted for possession of controlled substance without a prescription. He's a white male, 31 years of age, 5'10", 195 pounds, and he has brown hair and blue eyes.
Blaine Allen Hertz. Blaine is wanted on charges of battery, causing bodily harm, domestic violence, battery on a person 65 years of age or older, domestic violence. He is a white male, 55 years old. He's approximately 5'8", 190 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes, and is flagged violent.
Next up is Arthur Lee Shevers, and Arthur's wanted for violation of probation, obstruction of criminal investigation, possession of controlled substance, possession of marijuana over 20 grams, petty theft, third conviction, possession, use of anti-shoplifting device. Arthur is a white male, 26 years of age, about 5'10", 180 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes.
Yeah, are you sure that's it? That's all he's wanted for?
I think so.
Okay. Sky Elizabeth Gray. Sky is wanted for grand theft of motor vehicle. She's a white female, 28 years old. She's 5'6", 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes.
And next up is going to be Bo James Calvin White. Bo is wanted for stalking, following, harassing, cyber stalking, and other domestic violence, obstruction of justice, harassment in a misdemeanor proceeding, and he's a white male, 35 years of age, 5'6", 200 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes.
Quentin Revis Brown. Quentin is wanted by Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office on charges of grand theft, less than $5,000. He's a white male, 30 years old. He's approximately 6 foot and has brown hair and brown eyes.
And before we get off this guy, this is the one that did the burglary down in the south end that took all the fishing rods.
Oh, yeah.
So he is still either in Santa Rosa or Okaloosa, and we really want to get this guy off the streets. Next up, Daniel Lee McLean, and Daniel's wanted for fraud, utter false instrument. Daniel is a white male, 66 years of age, 5'8", 250 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes, and is considered violent. So if you have any information in reference to any of these individuals, 437-STOP, Crime Stoppers, and remember the show's recorded, so some of these people may have been caught by the time it airs. So
hopefully they have, anyway.
Yes, and we have a really good track record with Crime Stoppers.
We do. We do. Okay, back to the now hiring thing. We've got a victims advocate position, 16 patrol, 5 dispatch, and 4 detention. And then on top of that, October 1st is when the other openings come up.
In addition.
So you're talking around 50 openings we're going to have come October 1st. So please go to our website, put in, and hopefully you can be part of the team.
Great team, a fun team. Love working here. Next up, we had a community contact. We just want to show a picture. We love, taking an opportunity to share these, and this is our Lieutenant Nathan Hall from Special Operations. And it's important for us to have a great community relations that we have, and Lieutenant Hall definitely embraces that. Looks like he's out at the fishing pier. Sheriff, how important is community relations?
Well, it's everything. I mean, we're about 350 sworn strong, somewhere in there. And, out of a county of 180,000, we need the help of the citizens. And we get it a lot here. A lot of people, help us. And I always say 95% of the citizens of Santa Rosa County love us. That other 5% usually are in my jail. So we have a great county, and we have great citizens that love helping us.
We want to say farewell, and I hope he comes back at some point, to our crime scene supervisor, Charlie Peters. What a great guy.
Yeah, and not only is he retiring from us, but before, this is his second job. He was 20-something years, 22 years in the U.S. Army, and then came to us, and now 20 years later, he's retiring from us as well. So him and his wife are going to start going overseas and touring around Europe and doing all that fun stuff. So we wish him well.
Yep, and we're certainly going to miss him. Make sure you come back and visit, Charlie. Scams. Man, we've been getting hit with scams in the past couple weeks.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if you have a warrant from Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, we're not going to call you and say, hey, you need to put some money on a green card and, we'll take care of it. If you have a warrant, we'll come see you. You'll get a deputy at your door, knocking on your door, and we're not going to send you anything. If you miss jury duty, then you may get a notice in the mail saying you missed jury duty or whatever, and a number to call, but it's not going to demand money. That's the main thing. All these scams, they want money. They want it right now. They want you to send it somewhere, and it's just, we don't do business that way.
No, definitely. And the most popular scams that we've seen here recently in Santa Rosa County is that you have a warrant, which involves us, the missed jury, the IRS scam. And, Sheriff, I had that call today while I was in the office, that someone tried to do that on my agency cell phone.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It really does. It's just crazy.
Also, the credit card interest scam, the family emergency scam, and the one-ring phone scam, which is your phone rings once, you hang up, you call back, and that is like a $9 a minute phone call.
Yeah.
So just be very careful with that. If you don't know the number, just don't answer it.
Yeah.
You have a video where you called one of these scammers, right?
Yeah, yeah. I called, and it's funny because they said on the recording, I was hoping to actually talk to somebody, but of course it was recording, and they pronounced our name wrong. Santa Rosa Sheriff's Office. So there's a clue too. If you hear Santa Rosa Sheriff's Office, that's probably not us because we know how to pronounce our name. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That was crazy. We also had some other activity that happened. We had an aircraft crash which occurred in the banks of the Escambia River up in Jay, and that pilot, from my understanding, was okay. At some point, he ended up going to the hospital.
Yeah, he did. He actually got airlifted, and I want to throw a thanks out to the U.S. Coast Guard because we gave them a call. They brought the chopper in because getting this guy out through the woods would have been really bad. He had some broken bones, and he was in serious condition. So they sent the chopper. They came in. They lowered the basket. We got him out that way and got him to the hospital, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
Yes. We don't have many crashes, and I think this was the second one for the year.
Second one for the year, yeah.
We also, and Sheriff, you were talking about earlier how much we get along with our community. We had an incident involving a shoplifter at Target.
Yes.
Where a citizen ended up catching the guy that was running away from us. We definitely want to thank the person that did that, Sheriff.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. But this is the thing. We appreciate, especially when you see one of our officers in trouble and you want to come help, you know, we really do appreciate that. But the one thing I would, you know, I want to say, and I want to say it the right way, I don't want to discourage people totally, but we get paid to put our lives on the line. That's what we're here for. We're here to be between the bad guys and you guys. So sometimes it goes bad for us. Sometimes officers end up in hospitals. Sometimes, unfortunately, like last year, we have to kill individuals. It doesn't happen very often, but I would tell you this, if you want to help, I'm not going to totally discourage you, but it can be very dangerous, and we don't want to get a civilian hurt trying to help us catch somebody. But we do appreciate the assistance, and we definitely got them in our jail. So.
Yep, absolutely. So, Sheriff, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Let's go to a quick commercial break. We got some more items to cover, and we'll be right back.
Okay, sir, this is a citation for speed. However, I did give you your break, but you need to do me a favor, slow on down, just because of the fact that, you know, it is dangerous out here speeding right here. So do me a favor, you know, slowing down. Whoa! Slowing down. Whoa! Wow. That's the reason why you got to have a move-over law in effect to save somebody's life.
Hi, I'm Santa Rosa County Sheriff Bob Johnson, asking you to please remember to move over so all of us can come home safely.
From that first day when I started hearing stories about what law enforcement actually, you know, entailed, I was hooked. I'm very involved with, you know, being on the SWAT team. It's my niche, if you will. I take pride in what I do. And my wife grew up in Santa Rosa County. I have, you know, 2 children, one on the way. I try to be the best husband and father I can be. Hopefully at the end of the day, make me a better cop as well.
I am Michael Ramirez, and I am proud to be a Santa Rosa County Deputy Sheriff.
And welcome back. I got a really interesting guest with me this the third segment, and I want to introduce everybody to a partner of ours here at Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, and this is Jason Giles. How are you?
Amazing. Appreciate the invite.
Hey, so why is he here? He is the owner of MaxFit over in Pace, right?
Yep.
Where are you located?
Corner of School Lane on Highway 90.
How long have you been there?
The store's been there quite a while. We actually bought it a year ago June, so fairly new, getting used to the whole retail side. I was a firefighter before that, so
I won't hold
whole
that
new set of stresses. I know.
So tell us a little bit about your background. We're going to tell you why he's here and some of the things he's doing for us, but tell us a little bit about your background. What it is exactly that you do? Okay,
so like I said, I own MaxFit. We're a results-based nutrition store. We're not there to sell you anything. We're there to educate. We're there to help you reach your goals. My first foray into that was in the United States Navy. I was part of the remedial PRT program. Learned a lot about nutrition, a little bit about exercise. Got out of the Navy, spent several years as a firefighter. Tried to help a lot of guys there. During that time, the owner of MaxFit in Crestview sponsored me to do a bodybuilding show. And during that process, I learned a ton about how the body works and how it handles nutrition, and how nutrition is the base of whatever your goal is, and the supplements just help.
So basically, we're kind of laying the foundation. So we know you own MaxFit. We know you like to work out, right? You do lift, right?
Every now and then.
Okay. So that's where the nexus is as to why he's here. So recently you've teamed up with several of our law enforcement personnel. Tell me a little bit about that and how'd that come about?
Oh, well, when we got the store, we had a few of your officers coming in. Buying the typical things, pre-workouts, fat burners, things like that. Not really getting the results they were wanting to get. So I started talking to them, feeding them little bits about nutrition, how that can improve their activities, all that fun stuff. We had one in particular that was trying to make the SWAT team fight and losing battle. Wasn't eating right, was working himself to the bone, wasn't eating enough. He was doing your typical starve yourself type diet. Started feeding him, and it went from there. From that, he decided to start up a health and wellness program for the Sheriff's Department and wanted me to make both me and Andy Daglish, a trainer, local trainer in our area, a part of that.
And here you are.
Absolutely.
And it is awesome. As a matter of fact, being the first responder that you were, and now you're helping first responders get better at what they do.
Right.
I mean, it is a stressful job. There's no doubt about that. How does the nutrition part and the workout part and shift work, stress, and unpredictability of eating and all that, how does all that interrelate with what we do?
Well, the biggest thing is the unpredictability. You never know what you're going to face. Taking care of yourself, putting in the proper nutrition, working your body when you have time, being used to that type of physical output increases your survivability in any of these. I saw that early on. I was one of the few firefighters at a few places I worked that actually worked out on a regular basis. And you would notice that we would be far less fatigued. We would be able to work longer and safer. None of us guys ever had to go to the hospital to get our blood pressure checked and oxygen levels checked after a fire. So I started getting more focused on it. And all the emergency services, it's going to increase your survivability of the job, and it's going to reduce your stress. All stress eventually becomes metabolic stress. Human beings need three things to survive: air, water, and fuel. The vast majority of people are ignoring the water and the fuel side. We can't help but breathe. That's automatic. But because of how easy it is to get food-like substances that aren't very nutritious, now we have to be taught how to eat, and that's what I do.
So when a first responder is working his shift and they're going call to call, and the only thing left to do is to stop at Burger King and get a sandwich, how does that interrelate with the physical body and what's going to happen after they eat that?
It's not real food. It's not real nutrition. Because of waste when it comes to commercially available foods, they add all these chemicals in, and that prevents us from absorbing that nutrition. Now, there are some healthy options available at these places, but again, you need to be educated to pick those options in the proper portions.
And this kind of interrelates within why we're kind of bringing you on here. It's not just law enforcement, first responders. It's just about anybody.
Everybody,
I guess we're all working in jobs that have a lot of stress, don't have a lot of time. Sometimes we eat on the go, and you just don't have the time. So how do you do meal plans, but then how does that relate with being on the go and eating well?
Well, they're custom meal plans. You tell me about your day, how your job goes, how much time you actually have, can you meal prep, and then we work from there.
That sounds like so much fun. Matter of fact,
we got an appointment today.
I'm going to go down to see him today to get started, because we've all been there. We've all been on these yo-yo diets.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been.
I did it for 15 to 20 years.
Especially because then you get on my favorite, Google, and then there's some new plan coming out, or a new book, or some new chemical, a drug, or a drink.
We have more information available now than we ever had in our lives. The most technology to make our lives easier, and we're more stressed and more miseducated than we ever have been.
And you said something interesting on the way here today, that what happens is people get very frustrated because they go on Google and they find these new plans and they were on something, and then all of a sudden they switch. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, really anything you do in your nutrition is going to cause some type of effect. Most people give it a shot. Things like keto or some cabbage soup diet or whatever, they'll do it for a few days, and it's habits. It needs to be a lifestyle, and that's what I teach, is that it's a lifestyle change. Don't make any changes in your nutrition that you're not willing to live with for the rest of your life. So I teach healthy eating habits from all the different foods, and now that'll vary depending upon the person and how their bodies react to that food. That's why we do weekly check-ins. One of the things I offer is accountability. You're going to come see me every week. We're going to reweigh, remeasure, talk about how your week went, and make adjustments from there. And if you did bad, I'm going to see that puppy dog look. And
So you said a lifestyle change. The Italian part of me is saying
pasta.
And the pizza. Pizza, that's my kryptonite. So
me
is
too.
that going to be
love pizza.
allowed?
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
That's
There's a thing that people call cheat meals. What happens if you eat at a deficit for too long? Your metabolism will slow down. Your body is this hyper efficient survival machine. It will adjust to whatever you do, right, to keep you alive. It'll conserve fuel, it'll conserve water, all those fun things. And that's how most people are walking around living. So when you're eating in a deficit, once we've boosted your metabolism, for too long, every now and then you need to throw in an abundance of food to let that caveman that runs your metabolism know that there's food available. We're just choosing not to eat it. So I prefer to call them refeeds versus cheat meals, because cheat meals just,
So as a first responder, how do you help first responders achieve and maintain those goals?
I lived it. You know, I was in the day room with them with the cookies and the snacks, and somebody was running to get something, or we'd stop in the truck at Hardee's. I understand that side of it. So when guys like y'all come and talk to me, I can give them the keys to try and help defeat that. And it may be, you have to make a commitment to meal prep to really get the most benefit of it, but you can make it happen from McDonald's or Tom Thumb or wherever, as long as you have a little bit of knowledge to look for what you need.
We got a long conversation this afternoon.
Come on, come on. This is the side I love.
Yeah. No, hey, and I'm all for it. I definitely want to be able to not only lead by example and show people that it's possible, but it's good that the guys that are out there on the road and they're working every day, that they eat well, that they exercise, and that they're doing everything that they can, because you never know when that moment's going to come up that you have to go from 0 to 100.
Absolutely.
And how does eating well going to help that?
You fuel up your car to go to work, right? It's the same thing with your body. If you don't put fuel in, it's not going to do what you ask of it.
I want to just take a quick minute. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the sheriff's office. You know, just being able to partner and all that is an amazing thing. And your address again?
Yep.
You're in Pace?
I forgot my own address. 5082 Highway 90.
Yeah.
We're right next to the lumber yard, right next to where 10 Cal used to be. Now it's Buffalo Junction.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate you coming out. We'll see you on our next show. You guys take care.